somebody has to step up and take the bullet for this culture, and nobody's willing to.
The greatest is Christ. So, sorry, he's the greatest to me.
Now I'm never putting pen to paper, giving God the praise, trying to save these new millennials these days, cause they worried about a chain around their neck, a car that they can drive, have no mental clue on how to stay alive, like reading God's word every day, living life with purpose, is what I say, cause you don't have time to waste, keep stress about your face, and Satan in this place by letting God lead you. Faith in Christ can feed you. Don't let Satan use you like a welcome mat. He come to steal, kill, destroy. Where's the fun in that? Robbing people, calling mad to come up. Man, this world that got really weak, cause the real men in the building stand up and speak, cause this transgender stuff, man, it's really got to end. God killed 2 cities for this very sin. You can act like you don't know, you can act like you don't see, but the blood of these young people is gonna be off me, cause God commissioned us all to lead them to Christ, and I'ma humble myself and take his advice.
He's the greatest to me. He's the greatest to me. He's the greatest to me.
God is the greatest, that's just not something that I say. And I pray he allow you to look his way, cause if he do, you'll be more than straight. Let me elaborate a little bit, where should I start? Wait, Daniel in the den used a lions like a king-size bed. King Nebuchadnezzar, one Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego dead, cause they didn't wanna bow to his image of gold. They wasn't concerned with their flesh, they concerned with their soul. Unlike the people of today, collecting idols, living without Jesus, knowing that's so vital. I know cause I tried it and I fell on my face. Can I see the hands of the people that love God in this place?
He's the greatest to me. He's the greatest to me. He's the greatest to me.
Public service announcement to all the youngsters out there that's trying to live the gangster life. Life is precious. It's short. You have to enjoy every bit of it. And you killing for nothing. You ain't even killing for honor. You ain't even killing for self-defense. You just killing so somebody think that you a killer. But you basically work for the devil. That's who you work for. You work for Satan, Lucifer. That's who you work for when you go around here and you got people's mamas and people crying. That's who you work for. And then you think you tough, you end up in a penitentiary, you're gonna be in there crying and you're gonna grow old, you're gonna be dead too. Now the devil get 2 for 1. He took a life and he took your life. Get a grip on it, y'all. Put them pistols down, man. Stop killing for nothing.
Yeah, we're in the studio today with James Williams. He's been here before years ago, and it's great to have you back here again. And
Yes, sir.
we were back here in the early days. You were in here when we first started all this, and
Yeah.
now you're back again. And it's really good to, like I said, really good to have you. And we're also joined today with his friend Precious and Precious Austin, right?
Yes, Precious
Okay.
Austin.
Okay. Didn't write it down, but I remember the conversation. Anyway, it's really good to have you in the studio. And we're kind of pumped up. We kind of geeked up, pumped up. You know, we're talking about some things that will be going on
Yes, sir.
Down the road a bit. Now, we got a big event coming up on July 30th, right?
Yeah, July 30th,
Okay, we'll
Fam
get-
Jam.
Okay. Going to put that up. It's going to cover you guys up a little bit there.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's up here at the, excuse me. I got the wrong one. Yeah. So got the wrong one. Sorry. Got the wrong banner up. So Fam Jam. Okay. Right there. It's going to be up here at the Franklin Avenue Mission, just down the road from where the studio's at. Right.
Yes, sir.
And do you work with them a lot or?
We wearing the shirt from last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just didn't dawn on me. I sat there and talked to you. I'm observant, man. I'm really observant.
Yeah, I got one by you then.
It's like you did. And,
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like I said, it's between you guys or the graphic here. So it's going to be from the 3 to 7 p.m. and it's going to be indoors and outdoors. Or?
It's outdoors.
Okay,
It's
outdoors.
all outdoors.
And it's a nice place. They got a nice parking lot. They got a nice yard there.
Yeah.
They got an area in back too.
We had a big turnout last year. Had a real big turnout. It was beautiful, man.
So I can't see what's going on here. So I'm going to drop the banner here, and then we could talk about what's going to be going on that date there.
Right.
So what kind of activities do they have planned for that?
Well, they had face painting last year. They had a bunch of artists come out and do murals all over the east side and all of the buildings and stuff that they own. So that was a beautiful thing. But last year, Flame was there. I don't know who gonna open it up this year or who gonna close it down this year, but I just know we gonna be part of it. Yeah, we also got a concert coming up at Grace Tabernacle on Carpenter and Fleming on the 16th.
On the 16th. Okay.
Yeah. I meant to bring that flyer. Sorry, Dennis.
We could put it in the description too. So
Yeah, but man. I'm just trying to share God's word with these kids, man, and change their life, man. You know, because Flint really don't have much to offer, man. And I can offer you Jesus, and that can change your life. So that's what we doing here, you know.
So how long have you been involved in so I guess the lack of better term, because I mean I don't like labeling music because it's kind of what somebody hearing that would probably might be dismissive of it.
Right.
But I guess this is Christian oriented rap and hip hop. Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much.
You could tell that by the lyrics.
Christ loving, put it that way. Christ loving.
No, it's like see music today, the bulk of it is vile. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's certain bands like lately I've been listening to stuff on YouTube. I mean, I'm first and caught up in the 80s music, 60s,
Right.
70s, 80s. So I try to branch out, and there's some interesting people out there, but they look at their lifestyle, they're advocating, it's a dead end. And I mean, I like some of these guys, some of these people sound great, but
Hey, you know, Satan is the prince of the air, so of course their music gonna sound good, but it don't edify you at all. It basically leads you to turmoil and being displaced in your life. You know what I mean?
right.
Because you sitting up here, you bartering with something that you don't even own, which is your soul. You know what I mean? Your soul is up for grabs with the life that you live. And I'm not claiming to be perfect, man, but every day I get up and I try to live for Christ, man. You know, I try to do it that way. I say it like this. I rather fail for Jesus every day than to succeed for Satan one time. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
So I deal with a lot of secular people who have no, connections to churches or religion of any sort.
Right.
And I know a lot of them are like really kind of, they roll their eyes, they kind of groan, audibly. You can hear when you bring about the mission and the life of Christ and the living in a Christian life. But I think a lot of people, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but this is my observation. A lot of people go out there who have this real concern, this idea of social justice, which is really, really dominating our society now in the media. The core message behind that, I cannot see it coming from any other source or religion other than Christianity. But is like we're warned that, a lot of times there's going to be appearance of goodliness or godliness, but they're not going to be denying the source. Well, that's what these people are doing now. They're saying, we care about people, we care about this. And then they try to take to task churches for their divisions where there's a lot of imperfections in churches, but their core message is unshakable and hasn't changed.
Right.
So anyway, we're going to, I think it's really interesting that how long have you been involved in the, Christian rap scene?
22 years.
22 years as a Christian always, right?
Yeah. Actually, I did gangster rap for 16 years. I think I said this on my last interview 15 years ago with you.
Long time ago.
Yeah. I did gangster rap for 16 years. And on my 16-year anniversary, God put it on my heart that I'm going in the wrong direction. So I stood up, I threw my hands up, and I repented. I took a step back and I said, I want to follow God. I said, I want to get to know him more today than I did yesterday. I want to do more for him next week than I'm doing this week, you know. And when I took that step back, that allowed him to stand in front of me. And he started guiding me, man. And in the last 22 years, it's just been handed to me. Now I'm at a place where we're doing a youth music production at McCree Theater.
I'll put that banner up there.
Yeah, the new McCree Theater. And we just finna do a play, you know, in our showcase coming up in August, where the kids are going to be rapping the songs. The kids are going to be doing everything. The kids is going to be the production, you know, and with the kids doing it, it means more.
By the way, folks, I got the number up that's scrolling on the scrolling banner. That's the number you should call, other than the one that's actually on the flyer. So I would just want to make people aware of that. So
the other number, man, the phone stopped working, or we would have still been using that. The phone just stopped working.
Now this music and music production, live production training is Monday through Friday, 4 to 6. When would this start? When does this
Actually
start?
We started last week.
Okay.
And we start at 9:00 in the morning.
Okay.
We just said from 4 to 6 because it was an after school program.
Okay.
You know, now this summer we run all day.
Now, could somebody say, "Hey, they didn't"? Obviously, you started last week, so
yeah.
Is there a chance of them still coming on board for this?
Yes, they can. 8 weeks in, they can come. We still got room, and it's always something that they can learn.
Well, here's the thing I was also wondering too, just because we were in production. So do you, we're both do production and post-production stuff.
Right.
Do you record the past sessions so maybe they can have a library so they can go reference that, or what?
What we do is we record the classroom session. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll let them look at it or however, but they learn it before the session is over. You know what I mean? They learn the song so fast. It's amazing how fast these kids learn. And you got to remember, a lot of these kids so-called got ADHD and got attention problems and all that, but we don't have no issues. All of the kids come in there, you know, for the 2 times that we did it, we started this program at the development center, which is the Old Bunch School. And we ran into a couple of problems and had to pull away from there. And we started doing it at McCree. And ever since we've been doing it at McCree, we ain't had nothing but peace. It's been beautiful over there.
Now, there's also to say, if somebody wants their child to be part of that, they call this number.
That's all they got to do is call the number and they in.
And they're in. And so there is no cost connected to it.
No cost connected.
Is there anything they should bring with them or anything that people
An excited kid.
Okay.
That's all they got to bring is an excited kid. Even if the kid ain't excited, they'll be excited when they leave.
I think it's actually teaching them a viable skill set because I mean, let's face it. I mean, I do this stuff and I'm way behind. I mean, I learned this stuff enough to put it up. Right. I would love to have an opportunity to go advanced where I can actually go where I'm at now. And I think this is giving the kids a good foundation for them to build on. Because let's face it, there's going to be different changes in formats or editing systems. But
you got to understand something. We got these kids reading these words.
Right.
They're reading, and they're happy about reading. You know what I'm saying?
They see it's something relevant to what they're wanting to do.
Yeah.
It's not such a far off and kind of like abstraction.
And the funny thing is, a lot of the kids can't read, but they still memorize the song.
Right. Because
So what do that say about their memory? That means they're learning wrong. If they can remember it without reading it, they're learning wrong. You're teaching them wrong.
So I don't know how much of my brain is occupied by song lyrics. I mean, to this day, I mean, let's face it, a lot of times, like things I'm going through, I go back to song lyrics or just a great phraseology of a song.
Right.
But we're going to bring Precious in the conversation. I don't want her to just sit there and left abandoned. So anyway, how long have you been involved in this whole adventure here?
I've recently, the past 3 years, I actually, prior to this, I used to do phlebotomy at the Plasma Center out there on Pearson Road. So that was my interaction, I think, with seeing like kind of seeing the peg to see what different people in the community that were from that, the different types of things that certain donors would come in and discuss, or things that's going on in the community, in the city and stuff like that. And a lot of people having a lot of grievances of what's going on in the community with young people. And that kind of was an interest for me in it. I'm a fellow Viking, so I graduated from Flint Northern, but I'm a student athlete. So my aspect of it is I saw how the extracurricular activities that we've done in school, how that helped me to develop leadership skills, problem solving, and solving my own problems in school, but also having a task of keeping my grades to a certain level. And I just saw how that it made the grievances from school seem a lot easier once you got to practice or games and stuff and people cheering for you and something to excite the crowd. It helped me to see in myself, like, and I want to give that to other young people. Like, you can be a role model and a leader right now where you are. You just have to, take it within yourself to focus on those things and, grow them. So that's just my passion came from it, and just seeing all the things that the community don't really have from when I was growing up. I graduated from Northern in 2006. So that was kind of just before where everything in the community is now, since before I went off to college, and coming back home and not really seeing any of that, I was really determined to be involved on making a difference. So.
Also, go into it too. You had a kind of a illustrious athletic career in high school, right? Or yeah. It's like, what college did you go to? You said it was in Texas somewhere.
Yes, I graduated from Prairie View A&M University with a bachelor's degree in social work. So I figured to utilize it. When I came home, I kind of actually had difficulties actually finding a job in social work. Besides, of course, CPS, everybody thinks that's where you should go, which is Child Protective Services, which is nothing wrong with that. But I was worried about me burning out on, doing that, because it's not really a long lasting profession. But I got more into what was going on in my community and the things that weren't there. And I just saw that as me utilizing my social work degree in that way, like grassroots work, talking to the community, finding out what the community needs. And the young people is the most troubled thing in Flint, Michigan right now. And that, to me, I saw that as that's my, that was my goal or my thing for me to tackle as an actual athlete and student from here. So
that's kind of interesting too, because you make the mention of social work background. I was in a social work technician program at Mott myself back in the 80s, and it kind of opened my eyes. I don't agree with a lot of the way they handle people within the system, because it becomes very one size fits all approach,
right.
And it's very bureaucratic.
Yes.
So I didn't see that. I was never a paid professional in that field. I went on to the technologies, and I worked at the different tech departments at the colleges and U of M Flint as well as Mott.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that I think it's interesting to have that background, because you get a perspective that a lot of people don't get exposed to.
For sure.
So did you ever work in that field or yourself, or?
I never actually had it officially but everything that I do, like when I was in college, I've done a lot of youth programs. So I've, in some ways here or there, I've utilized it just by doing that. But also just like the phlebotomy, doing that was like more of a medical field aspect of it. But you have to deal with, different types of bedside manner and things like that, and dealing with many different ailments a person may have. And like before I graduated, I actually did 400 hours at a behavioral clinic. It's called Cadwalder Behavior Clinic, which it was like a ranch with 100 different acres, but it had specific buildings for a specific type of mental functioning individual. So I did do a summer of that for 400 hours. So I've done a lot of different things with people with mental disabilities and issues. I actually have worked with I've worked with Michigan Community Systems. I've actually done work for nonverbal clients. So I actually done program A work as well.
So yeah, you got a wide background just dealing with people. That's great. I mean,
Yes.
it's like dealing with them in a very critical times of their life. I mean, doing blood draws. That's what phlebotomist does. Does blood draws and works with the the blood of patients for testing. Right? Isn't
Right.
it?
Yep.
So I mean, that's like you're dealing with people probably in very critical times of their life, and you're seeing probably at their worst, maybe at their best, but
yeah,
they're definitely very vulnerable states.
for
So,
sure.
but anyway, James, we'll get
Yes,
back to you
sir.
now. So
Yes,
I
sir.
don't want you to feel slighted, but
No,
I think
I'm
she's a very
good.
interesting person,
good,
and I
I'm
want to
good.
get people to know a little bit more about her.
Yeah.
Anyway, you've had a background too. Basically, you've had probably a lot of different jobs in different fields too, haven't you?
Yeah, well, actually, I was always in retail, dealing with that, which always had me. I liked dealing with people, you know what I'm saying? And coming up, I always wanted to be a teacher. So it's funny that I'm running this class at McCree. But like basically my work background, I always tried to be an entrepreneur, to tell you the truth. I never really depended on no job to take care of me. I always produced music. Music was always my way out of here. So, I had a job working at Kroger's where I worked with your business partner. That's how this interview here came about. But yeah, other than that, no, I work for myself. My background is, always been giving back to these people musically. Now I want to give back to these kids, in a way that they can benefit in life, because what they teach you now is to grow up and go work for somebody else, when that's really not what I taught my kids. All of my kids are entrepreneurs and trying to do it for themselves, because working for somebody, man, it don't work for everybody. And basically, I'm one of them people it didn't work for. Being self-sufficient, like in that way, man, it's nothing like having that peace.
Right.
Knowing that you're not tied down to nothing. Like I can get up and move to Texas. And I did that in 2012. Just got up and moved. Like, I'm tired of being here. I'm gone.
Because we did lose contact with for several years. I mean, it's
15 years.
So, Steve Meyer was interesting because you knew Jeff Hickson. I think he was the one you initially talked to about,
right.
And he told you about us, and
and
then you called me, and Steve Meyer just happened to be here at the studio that day,
trying to figure out how
and
he knew my
he
voice.
could recognize your voice, and he heard it on the phone. He went,
Yeah.
ask him if his name was James. He worked at store such and such, at Kroger store, and he had worked there as a security guard, wasn't it? Or
I think it was store 8.
Yeah. And he goes, and he's just like, you had a good ear for the recognition of your voice. I mean, because it just goes to show we're real tied together, because we've been doing shows from here like since 2006, 7, something like that.
Actually, I came in 2009.
Okay, so you're soon after we started.
I came in 2009.
So we've done thousands of shows. I mean, we brought people. See, you're asking what the name of the show was, and I really just do interviews intermittently, because we have 2 main shows that we do on the network here. What's going on Mondays with George Moss. I'll do a plug here, and also Tuesday mornings we have a greater understanding with Reverend Lawrence Del Sifa and Wayne.
I know
Tierney.
Pastor Dale.
Yeah, so he's been, his family is also, they're entrepreneurs in the Genesee County area. They're business owners, entrepreneurs.
Right.
Real estate. His family started out in the food and grocery industry.
Right.
So I mean, it's like Flint's had a lot of people come through here. We had a wealth of talent, both for economics, business, finance. Like Tom Sumner, another guy, used to do a show from here, still does one show. The Tom Sumner program, by the way, it's a real good program. Get a chance to catch it. He said the talent pool in and around Flint is as good as you're going to find anywhere else in the country. And I think I have to, I do totally agree with that, because we have singers, we have basketball players, we have actors, we have, it's.
And what our program, we're tapping into all of that. Because actually, I never even said nothing to you about it, but our actual goal is to get our own youth center, our own complex. We went to McCree because Charles Winfrey, for one, is a beautiful person. And he said, hey, man, we got room for you over here.
But also, I'm actually a fellow actor of the New McCree Theater as well. I'm I'm avid in a lot of the shows and plays that they do. So a lot of the productions that the New McCree Theater have done, I've actually done a start in quite a few of them. The last one I was just in was the Amen Corner. which is a James Baldwin play that they did within the season that they just had just before the summer season broke. So I am I've been doing plays with McCree for about 5 or 6 years now. So that kind of sparked the initiation of the connection for the partnership, just because the relationship that me being an actual community theater actor in the program that McCree has. So I was talking to James. I had been talking to him, and he knew I was doing the plays through them. Shout out to the new McCree Theater. And he was like, maybe we should try to see about doing something, my own kind of thing. And a couple of the other mentors there was kind of like, you should try to do your own show and do your own thing. So, we kind of came up with this thing together. So for a musical production of everything, because he do music, but I just saw like the connection of a lot of the young people that kind of looked up to me. I was just like, let me really do something, just as opposed to just being something I do as a passion, but really make something of this. And maybe I should really try to do my own thing and branch off and make it be something else. And that's kind of what sparked everything in the conversations. So
I just think, I think it's great that you guys got this. You got different angles, but you have something that actually can be working so synergistically together. I think it's just, I think that's a good thing I found about Flint too. There's always people coming out who's trying to make an impact, trying to make a difference in a positive sense. And
right.
I mean, and I personally, a lot of times I'll say stuff. I get real disgusted with what's going on in Flint.
Yeah.
But I still stay here trying to,
Yeah.
Maybe if a big carrot drops out of the sky with dangling off a big stick and leads me some other way of me, but I just can't see that happening.
Right.
So I'll stay here because you're placed in a place. You're here. You have to deal with what you're dealing with. And it's
Right.
like, this town has got more than its share of challenges.
Right.
And
But it has its more than its share of blessings too. People
Right.
just don't know where to
Yeah.
look.
Like
Yeah.
the connections of the just the different people. I mean, my grandparents them were Fisher body workers, so they were but I'm saying it was a mixture of Black and white people who came from the South and other areas of all different types of walks of life, and I love the community of my city here. That I love the most. Now, if we could really work to build more on that, just like with you, just very different walks of life, because we're all in Flint together. And that's the one thing that I did love about the community, and why I'm so adamant about I have to start something for the community there, because that connection between all of us, because we're all here together to get out together. That's the thing I love about Flint, is that no matter who you are, all of that, we're all Flintstones together. So
and there's a lot of people who are like you were alluding to. There's a lot of people from diverse backgrounds, and they're here. They're still here. They're still plugging away. You mentioned Mr. Winfrey from McCree Theater. I mean, I've heard of his name. I can't tell. I can't remember the first time I heard of his name. He's been around. He's a pillar of the community,
Right.
and he actually extended himself, and he's made sacrifices, and he's an admirable quality person. I mean, he's got a lot of admirable qualities to him, and never met the man. I don't think I recall meeting him face to face and knowing people who are connected to him, related to him.
Right.
But he's like I said, it's like this such a small community, because we're sitting around talking before we started doing this broadcast, and there's a lot of people we kind of know on the periphery, those same people, the similar people. So,
Right.
And the thing is, Precious, she went to Northern. I was an Indian, so Central Indian. So
Yeah, long
but
as you
there
wasn't
was
a
always
wildcat, we all right.
though, out of the city, the Flint and the Northern and the Central rivalry is the most favorable rivalry, as opposed to the Ohio and Michigan one. I don't want to go there, but
Yeah. Oh, and just a side note, I just want to send a shout out to Brian Nolan over at Burston.
okay,
Oh yeah,
He extended Burston to us too. We just have to build something at McCree first.
right.
So we're gonna, after we do it at McCree, we're gonna have it running there. And then for the people that can't come on that side of town, we're gonna take it over to Burston too. So
yeah.
we're gonna be in 3 or 4 different places in the city. Actually, our goal is to open up over 100 youth centers producing music.
Wow,
Right.
that's a ambitious aim.
Yeah, but You know,
But-
the beautiful thing is we 501c3, so anything that anybody do for us, and we're a company called Big Moves,
Mhm.
you get the write-off. You know what I'm saying? So you get the help and get your money back.
Well, see, somebody watching this right now saying, "Hey, I want to be part of this." What would be the most things that you could say right off the top of your head? Do you think the most crucial things you probably need as of this point? At this point,
Man, actually, any finances would be beautiful. Any children would be more
Would be
accepted.
more, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's people that don't even know what we're doing, and it's totally free.
I know another thing is this is welcome to. What's the age brackets you're looking for?
We don't have no
we don't have a set
we don't have a
age
set
range
age,
right
and
now.
see, that's hurting people because everybody, we want from 5 to 7. No, anybody come in there. If your baby can talk, you can bring it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hopefully they're they're potty trained and everything.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
we would hope,
We
but
would
like
hope.
no younger than maybe probably 5.
Right.
You know what I'm just within a good starting age. I mean, we don't.
We
I
ain't trying
can
to
change
babysit.
diapers and all of that and everything. I do have the
We ain't-
capabilities, but that's not what
We
we're really
ain't
trying to focus
trying
on.
to babysit. We trying to teach them something. So if your kid is not at the point where they're ready to learn something, you got to keep them till they're ready to learn.
What amazes me is that kids. My niece, she passed away a couple of years ago because she.
Okay.
But she was 26. But when she was a child, she just seemed to gravitate towards technology. She knew. I mean, she could operate the cell phones better than her parents could.
Right.
They just clicked. I mean,
Yeah.
and they're fascinated by the colors, the sound, the
Well,
capabilities.
yeah, we're actually looking for young people and young toddlers that have that kind of niche for things like that, because that could be a cinematographer, or it could be a photographer, or it could be someone, you could be the behind the camera person for the podcast or something like that. We have many different avenues of different types of production that we're actually trying to find those specific young people that kind of have that kind of curiosity or niche.
We want to put on a production. We want to actually put on a hip hop musical using all children. They're going to be on the cameras. They're going to be on the sounds. They're going to be
The crew.
The grown-ups just going to step back and watch it.
I think that some people listening to that might be really intrigued by that possibility, because I mean, I think it's unique. I mean, of course, you're going to have to have probably the older kids probably be the behind for the production itself,
Right.
Yeah.
Like the running the equipment.
Right.
But the kids themselves, I mean, I'm amazed. I watch TV or something, I see kids acting.
Yeah.
And I'm
Right.
amazed at the ability to tap into something, and they don't act like they're acting. I mean,
Right.
these are youngsters, and that kind of boggles my mind to think that these kids actually know how to pretend at that depth.
Right.
How to play that. It just
Right,
amazes me.
Well, what got me is in 2012, I had moved to Dallas for a few years, for like a year and 8 months. And while I was down there, my nephew, Anthony, I was teaching his sister. She was 12 at the time, teaching her a song called What You Standing On. And I know while I was teaching her, we're learning with no pen. We're just off the dome, memorizing this and writing it because I write like with my mind. I don't use a pen. Like I just memorize it in my head, make up a beat, and then just spit it into my equipment, and there it is. But while I was doing that, my great nephew, I noticed he couldn't even read. He was like 4 or 5. And while I'm working with my niece, he's spouting off every word. And I was impressed by that. So that let me know that what I'm trying to teach these kids, they don't even have to learn how to read. They don't even have to know how to read. But in doing this with me, they will learn how to read, because we keep the words in their face for the ones that need it, but the ones that don't, then I'm teaching them how to use their memory. Because once you learn that your memory is more, and they tell you this, but you don't believe it, your memory is more powerful than a computer. Then if you access it that way, it works like that.
Remember a remarkable thing that I thought was remarkable is when my niece was going to school. She wanted to learn. That was her biggest thing. Well, she had been reading, and she didn't want to believe that what she was doing was reading, because for some reason it was built up in her head as something more difficult.
Right.
And the teacher would say, hand her a page of, hand her a book and say, read this. And the kid would read it, and she goes, "You read that, Courtney. You did it perfectly." She goes, And Courtney was just dismayed. That's my niece. She was like,
Mhm.
she just didn't dawn on her. She had learned how to read without taking
Without
significant
taking-
effort to read.
Right.
And that's what I think you're alluding to. It's like what I call incidental learning.
Exactly.
Right.
We don't know how much we absorb incidentally. We don't actually plan on it. We don't actually map it out. There's no lesson plan.
Right.
There's like we learn how to use language because we've heard it used.
Right.
It's like a
Right.
game. We learn how to play the game.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
called game theory. I think it was Wittgenstein who first came up with that concept of how we learn, and it's true. I mean, we learn. Let's face it. Nobody says this is this. We just know. Well, hopefully, we have people who use the language correctly,
Right.
and don't use the swear words. I learned the swear words too much, and I seem like to love those even as a kid, and I'm still too tied to that. But I mean, I got a potty mouth. But anyway, I mean, it's like I did learn the game. I learned the game. I could swear well,
Right.
effectively.
Right.
But we do that with languages. So we just,
Right.
Right.
and that's like, and another thing is too, that also kind of reinforces the importance of watching what you're exposing your kids to.
Exactly. Exactly.
The Bible tell you to
Yeah.
protect your ear and your eye gates.
Yeah, and that's also like a thing of what we're trying to do is them being actual mindful of not just the beat, but actually what the music is, what you're taking in, the concept of what you are talking about. Like most kids, sometimes they'll repeat stuff, but then they don't know like what song it's from or anything like that. But to break that down so that when you do hear music or when they'll be able to be like, hey mom, this is that has a piece of this or things like that, like different types of gifted ears. And what I'm saying, we're also teaching them, editing on music and things like that, all types of things that go into production that any of the various kids may have a knack for. But like you said, they didn't have someone give them the page and have them read it. And they were like, oh, I read. And that's kind of like what we're trying to do. It's like, oh, I thought I was tapping on the table. No, you was really making a meat. You was really making a beat. You was making this part
Basically.
of this, teaching them that those little things that you're doing, have a bigger meaning if you take the time to focus on learning what it is.
Basically, we want to teach them to fish. We don't want to feed them. We want to teach them.
That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, that's a good way
so they can eat.
Right.
That's like another thing. I'm gonna put that banner up again for the production classes.
Yes, sir.
Another thing is too, say the parents are hearing this and they're saying, would you encourage them to maybe bring technology they might have available or to these kind of
Actually,
things?
we don't need nothing.
You don't need nothing.
Bring the kid.
Okay.
And like I said, if you want to come over to McCree and donate something to Big Moves, by all means, and we'll give you the tax ID write-off.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So whatever, like I said, whatever you do, you get it right back. It ain't no, well, we want to thank you for your no, you get it back. Literally get it back. Like you ain't giving to the church fund.
Yeah.
You know
Whether
what I'm
it is,
saying?
it's going to be given back, like either in your child or what they do in life or what they decide to become, or if they, aren't deciding to become something, they could end up leaving with an idea of what they might want to do or their purpose with our program as well, because each and every person has a specific talent, and some people may think it's some kind of quirk or anything, but we're trying to help them find the access. Like, no, it's not just the quirk, it's this because I do this and it can do this, and now I make this with it. So
yeah.
People don't understand that we learn bits and pieces, and then we find a place to actually can put this all together.
Yeah.
And that's what I think you're offering is like it gives them a big chunk. What they're, I mean, but no, I'm just intrigued because I knew we had people years ago who had cameras, and they were actually requesting people like allow them to use their video cameras, because this is when digital video cameras are like cutting edge and pretty expensive, and they wanted people to allow these kids to take their cameras with them home. Now, are there things like that where you encourage them to actually do video shooting on their own, or was it?
No, we're gonna do it as a class project.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a class. What we're actually doing, and we're not trying to do it. What we're actually doing is we're creating a concert. All right, and we're gonna take it on tour. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do tours with this. We just got to show them what we're doing, and then we're gonna. When we do the showcase in August, we're going to have our donation buttons and all of that set up so you can donate to it. And we're going to also ask people, where do they think we should do it next? We're gonna let people decide where the concert should do it, where we should be next. You know, that way it gives it life.
Now, how far would you want to go away with this? I mean, they're taking
I'm going all over the United
well,
States.
that's ambitious. I mean,
I'm
it's
going
like,
all over in every city, in every state. I'm trying to get
we're
there.
looking for communities and cities like Flint that are similar to where our, you know, the stem of the whole
We're
mission
trying
behind
to
it.
help the people
Areas
that's hurt.
like this that are considered downtrodden youth and destitute and things like rough areas, things like that, to showing that, you know, something small can take place in this community and become a great thing and go global from what, you know, the throwaways, as some people would consider people, or our communities, you know, the kids are the lost, the destitute. We're trying to go to more communities like that and making a difference.
now somebody over maybe it'd be I would love to hear that somebody's watching this who has a great size amount of money in a checking account and says, hey, I want to donate to this. Say what somebody does contact you and they say, we would like to take you, you know, bring this to our community. Would you have places in mind that you'd want to, like maybe different cities you might have, just, you know, imagine.
Yes, sir. Actually, we'll go anywhere that they're paying to go.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It don't matter wherever they want us to pop up, we popping up. Because this is our first time out the gate doing it and talking about taking it on tour. So we don't know what our budget actually is yet.
Right.
We don't actually know how many kids. Our goal was to do this with 25 kids, but if 100 kids come, we're going to use 100 kids.
Now, how many kids I'm just curious, how many kids are currently involved in this?
Right now, we have 2.
We got a strong 2.
We got a strong 2, but we have access to 99 other kids that's in McCree, but they're doing another program right now. So we don't even have the kids that we're need. Right now, we got a strong 2, but them 2 is always there.
And so this is not just a summer program, right?
It's going to be ongoing.
It's gonna go on. You know, when the school year starts back. But right now, it's a summer program, and our program lasts longer than McCree's. McCree's only lasts 4 weeks. We're gonna go.
Ours is ongoing.
We're going all summer.
Are ongoing. So as long as we can get like shows lined up and everything, because eventually we'll be having events festivals and things we'll be throwing like in the city. That's why we're trying to start a trail of where we're going to different places so that we can have a culmination for our annual for everything. That'll be a festival event.
Right. What our goal is to do agape festivals. You know what I'm saying? Agape festivals is the love of Jesus. Like, I'm gonna love you regardless if you love me back.
Yeah, unconditional.
You know, unconditional love. So we're setting up to do agape festivals, and in these agape festivals, it's like when we do this one in July, that's gonna be the thing on the east side, right?
Okay.
And then when we do the thing in August, that's gonna be something we do every year in August on that date. So when we go in another city and do it in that city, then a year from that time we're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
So they continue a program, something that they can look forward to.
Yeah, every year from that point on. So we're trying to set up a 100-city tour, and then every year that's what we do.
I think that's really ambitious. I really wish it would be successful for you too, because I mean you're fighting a lot of like inertia, you're fighting a lot of other negative influences out there.
Right.
But of course we have the scrolling banner how people can reach you on the email address,
email, phone, whatever, or just pop up at McCree. You know, there.
You can also ask around at the New McCree Theater for us. My name Precious Austin or James Williams or the Big Moves Youth Program. So you can ask the staff at the McCree Theater as well about us, and they'll inform you.
I just think it's like I'm kind of pumped up for you, and I hope that it's really I met you, like I said, I met James years ago, and I just met you today, and I think my impression of you, Precious, is that you are a person who's like really passionate about this, and you and you do love the city of Flint.
I do. I'm a big star here. I mean, like I said, I was told you before, I've been in the Flint Journal paper so many times for softball, all city, and volleyball, and basketball as well. Like I was telling you before, I'm a part of the team in 2003 when we went to state and played Detroit King. I got paper clippings and all of that. That stuff will be coming as well. Like I said, I also have a YouTube channel. It's called Precious Minutes. So if you are looking to get more into information on Precious, like I said, I have a YouTube channel, Precious Minutes. So you can look me up on YouTube.
Right. And I have a YouTube channel called Take Notice Entertainment, From Broke to Billionaire also.
So what I'll do is I'll put those those links in the description when I post this on. It's going up live to YouTube as well as the 2 Facebook channels up for All Points TV and Flint Talk. And anyway, I'm gonna play that song. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to play that song, the other song, and then we can maybe talk about that, then maybe wrap that up. And we want to keep on emphasizing. First of all, is the upcoming event July 30th here on the east side of Flint, over Franklin, which is probably 5-6 blocks down the street from the studios located. And it's going to be on July 30th from 3 to 7. But you said actually earlier time too, right?
We're doing something on the 16th on Carpenter and Fleming.
Okay, we'll also put that date.
Yeah, I got the flyer. I'll send it to you.
Okay, and also keep in mind too that if you want to enroll your kids in something that's beneficial, the music and music production and live show training at the McCree. I got the banner up again. I mean the flyer up again. I think that'd be intriguing because I'm interested in production, obviously, in post production, and I think a kid would probably I couldn't imagine a kid now having this chance to go to this. They'd probably be out of their heads, there'd be a geek free. Yeah, it's like mom and dad, you got someplace to send your kid for a few hours a day, and they're coming out with something good. They got around good people, and I think that's it's hard not to be depressed living here.
We don't drive them hard. What we do is we'll work them for about 45 minutes, take a break, have a snack time, watch a movie, and then put them back to work before the class is over. But it's basically an unwind, bonding time type of thing.
As well, like an icebreaker though, because we're actually trying to be able to create a family environment amongst, like back, I grew up from, it takes a village type of mentality. That's how I was raised. So I'm trying to do more of us bringing that kind of environment, back to communities like Flint. So that's kind of like what it is. So they're going to learn something valuable, and yes, they're going to work hard, but at the same time, it's going to be fun. It's going to be uplifting. It's not going to be nothing on a low vibrational type of level. It's all going to be very elevated information, and you'd be surprised. The outcome of what your child will become after our program. We can almost guarantee that it's definitely going to be a positive one.
Right. Another thing is too, I'd like to announce too. I just put up the banner here, our thing for On the Orbis Church, which is the church we're working on becoming. This studio is becoming a church, and because we have basically we do a lot of Christian related messages and and to shows. So and anyway, so it's going to be we're going to be co-sponsors with this too. Allow you to come here to use this means to get the word out about upcoming events, and maybe also cover them as they go up. So and I think it's we're kind of me and Steve are both kind of very pumped up about being connected to this, because it's right coming up on the cusp of us, launching this ourselves.
Right.
And so I think this is a good timing, excellent timing. Right. And but I'd like to also say we'll play the song, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. And like I said, you could the music will be the music will be playing, and you can talk amongst yourselves there, and we'll come back and you can discuss that. Then we'll finish the show up and also keep on re-emphasizing the 2 dates. Okay. Anyway, it's really good talking to you, and I'm going to play the song because I like the song. I want to hear it again. All right.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
Don't call us saying it's your wrong. Mama's right. Mama's right.
Dear mama, love it when you talk to me. I started out a little lonely kid in the sandbox, growing up on the north side of Flint. Even though my father was in the house, felt like he wasn't there and didn't know where he went. I had a brother and a sister, but every day I felt like I was the only child, cause my sister was doing what girls do, and my brother was out here being buck wild. This dude was so bad, my mother had a nervous breakdown and tried to commit suicide. I'm on the floor, begging her to live, all the while dying inside. This is a pain kids shouldn't feel if the truth be told. Lord Jesus, this too much for someone to hold. Show me your light. Please, please, show me your light.
You may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Don't judge a book by the cover, cause it could be a horror story. My only reason for coming here is to give God the glory. My brother took the prison route, my sister chose the military, but I got down with Jesus Christ, cause to me that choice wasn't scary. Matter of fact, that every day, 9 to 5, it makes me sick. There's no plan, people tripping, give me some choices, y'all can pick. God can be my only boss, so that way I won't get lost. My trust in Christ ain't no trend. I'm trusting Christ cause he's my friend. You can tell a tree by the fruit that it bear. When I hit my knees and I pray, yo, it be there. I don't care what you say, I'm gonna shut that all down, cause I roll with the one that wears the crown. Show me your light. Please, please, show me your light.
They stumbled because they disobeyed the word, as they were destined to do. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's a lot of times I think I have issues with some of the Christian music scene now, and a lot of it's like basically it's like a message for pop psychology rather than scripture.
Right.
And that's what I have issues with, but that was definitely very biblically loaded.
yeah.
It'll probably anger a lot of secularists, which is cool.
Yeah. You know how you make a plant grow, right? You shake the ground up around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Place where they grew trees and stuff. This sounds dumb, but take you had a baseball bat, you tap it really vigorously up and down that trunk.
Mhm.
And the next year, after she done that, the next year produced a lot of fruit.
Right.
Mm.
Right. That's all we doing.
Yep. Anyway, it was really nice talking to you, and I'm definitely pumped up, like I said, for what you're doing at the degree, and also looking forward to seeing how this goes down here down the street from because the mission down there does a lot of work. It has a lot of stuff that they do on a continuous basis.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We connected with them last year. I met them last year.
I like a lot of the prenatal care and stuff that they do now, that they're doing with the clinics, with the newly mothers and stuff that they're providing. That I love that they do that. That's so needed.
Yeah, they do a lot of work, man. I mean, they're there all the time, and the East Side's got a lot of places that give out water, like Asbury Methodist. They give out food up there on Davison Road.
Mhm.
Right.
So this would become. You got a lot of resources here where people are, facing lean times. They have a lot of resources available here,
Mhm.
and I see it every day because I'm here. I live here, so
Right.
Right.
anyway, and like I said, I'm looking forward to doing updates with you and working with you and seeing what's going on with it. Maybe something great and positive comes out of what your efforts are, and I definitely hope for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Just-
thanks.
Just want to tell you, thank you, to take the time out your day to come, let us come over here and record this and do what we need to do. And I'm looking forward to finishing this documentation about this program with you. We setting up to do a movie about what we doing, but
Right.
a real life documentation about what we
Yeah.
doing. Nobody's doing that, so that's what we doing. We marking our progress so you can see where we came.
Right. So you can see where we're going.
And that's good for people who are real skeptical and going to say, well, they roll their eyes. Oh, another thing going on. Well, here's the proof that something's moving
Right,
still.
right,
yeah.
The ball,
right.
the
Because
ball's
can-
still in play.
you can see where I started, and you're gonna see where I finish.
Right.
So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Very nice to meet you, Precious. Good to reconnect with you, James. And
Yes, sir.
let's hope to keep going. All right.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right. Have a good
Thank
day,
you.
and
You
thank
too.
you for joining us.
All
I'll be
right.
blessed.
You be blessed.